Hey, I'm doing Google Hangouts. I figured out all on my own. That's right. I did it all on my own. Is anybody in here? Oh, gotta turn this off. All on my own. Let's see here. I've got two viewers already. Hey, hello, hello, hello. Trying to figure all this out. Carol's in the house. Okay, you guys can see me. Yeah, you guys can see me. Okay, cool. So if anybody wants to come on tonight, they can. Um, I figured out we can do this. Uh, Screen share, chat. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Okay. I'm trying to figure this out. Screen share, chat. Okay. All right. Hold on here. Um, so I did a video, it's not on yet, about illegal immigration and some interesting things I found about tax fraud and what's going on with that. Um, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it tonight. So yeah, so here's the thing is that we're getting like another caravan coming on. Or another caravan's on its way. It just from what I understand, it just like busted through uh Honduras, or the from Honduras just busted into Mexico. And the thing about these is that when an illegal immigrant gets to come in, and there is plenty of um, there's borders that are unoccupied and are open and free. And what's happening is that these illegal immigrants can get an, even though they're illegal, they can get an ITIN number. It's a tax identification number. So instead of using their social security number, they're using this ITIN number when they file their taxes. Well, the crazy thing about this is when they file their taxes, everyone's like, "Well, it's great." I mean, the last report that came out, they contributed like $4.8 billion to the industry. I mean, to state and local taxes. But the crazy thing is they're not talking about, so this is coming from the right, or from the left side. You hear it on some of these news agencies and stuff like that. um, uh, they oh, they're great. Immigrants take the jobs that nobody wants, they contribute, they pay taxes. But what they're not telling you is the taxes that they're getting back. The child tax that we were getting, they are also get that too. They're entitled to those. And so what they're doing is they're claiming their nephews and nieces, so that aren't even living here. So there was this one family, I forgot where they were living, but they were in the Midwest somewhere. And this family had one child, but they claimed 20. Their tax return for that year was $29,000. That is crazy. That is so crazy. So this $11 billion, $11.5 billion they talk about tax revenue coming in, they're not talking about the tax revenue going out on top of the other things that they're burdening us with. And that's they're estimating at $113 billion. So we got $113 billion in services that we provide for the illegal immigrants. Then we have um, you know, Yeah, they contribute 11.5, but the thing about it is this whole $5.7 billion and it's causing the shutdown is just ludicrous. It's just crazy. And the other thing that is so ludicrous is that Nancy Pelosi is out there and she's not even this whole shutdown that she's so stubborn about, don't want to spend that much money. Just there's other ways to do it. We can get robot dogs. What's next? She wants to replace the janitors with Roombas? Come on, really? A Roomba isn't going to clean her office. They are kind of cool though. I like a Roomba. My birthday's coming. If anybody's watching, Roomba's cool. But anyways, yeah. So all of this mess, all of this political stance, but this is the crazy part. So I don't have all the yeah, I'm with you, Carol. It's like you don't yeah, like I've done humanitarian work with in Mexico, I live not too far from the border. And the thing about it is, I've done, missionary work ever since I was a teenager. We'd smuggle in building supplies and build, churches and shelters for battered women and stuff like that. And it was cool. It was really cool. Um, but the thing about it is but also living on the other side of the border, my son attended the public school that he was, assigned to was an English as a second language school. So he was held back. I mean, he wasn't never held back in his, through his classes and stuff like that. But he was held back in the sense that he didn't get the education he deserved or he should have gotten with my tax-paying dollars. He only got half of what he should have been getting because he was held back by the non-English speaking students. So when he was in class, they would have to stop and explain. And so, I mean, that's a lot of stress on the teachers. They're already overcrowding the schools. And now we can't do a class in English. It has to be a shared language class. It's just unbelievable. And then after I graduated and I got my nursing degree, I couldn't get a job for almost several months just for the sheer fact I didn't speak Spanish. Like you have to be bilingual. Medical professionals out in Southern California, they want you to be bilingual. And so now I have to learn a second language. I mean, yeah, I got a little tiny bit, but not enough to be proficient in medicine. And so it's totally crazy. It's a crazy time we're living in, and the thing that's really scary is like I watched Kamala Harris today. And Kamala Harris is, talking about running for president and all that kind of stuff. She sh- like first of all, the Judicial Watch found out that there was 1.5 million illegal votes just in LA County. Just in LA County alone. That's a million and a half. And John Cox, our governor, lost by a million votes. So if those 1.5 million, just in LA, so there was a lot more in California. LA only represents a part of California. I'm pretty sure if we were to go through the votes and all that kind of stuff, I have a feeling he could have won because it just doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense to, in certain districts where very grounded red counties turn blue like that. And so, we had that, was it Debbie Brown in Florida who was caught doing voter fraud. Now we found Judicial Watch finds more voting fraud in California. This is it's a crazy time that we're in, and it's really sad. So now we've got Kamala Harris who, her area is, I mean, California is a mess. So you want somebody who represents California to represent the entire country. It's just The thing about you really need to think about is what has she done for California? Kamala Harris was out there, and during the Kavanaugh tribunal hearings, she was horrid. Did not. She was a bully. She was pushy. When Justice Kavanaugh had his daughters there proudly, she talked about how an abortion was something that women need to because of abortion, because she had one, she's able to be who she's and where she's at. So basically, she was telling those little girls that, one, I don't like your daddy because he doesn't want women's rights, the right to choose to keep your baby or kill it. But the fact that women can't do what I do if they have kids, because that's saying women are too weak. You either have to be a mother or you have to be successful. And if you were to give me an option, like I only can pick one, is to be a mom or to do what I do, I would darn well pick being mom. That was the best job God has ever given me. And, he's grown and he's off on his own now. And, and it's sad. It's sad because now all of this burden is going to be on him. All of this burden are going to be on his generation now. And I'm fortunate that my son, despite living in California, has been surrounded by some really cool friends that he's grown up with since like the age of 3, and they're very good, strong Christian men, very patriotic men. My son, and despite going through the school system, despite going through being a minority in his school, he knows the Constitution. He knows his Bill of Rights. He knows his civics way better than some of our Congress people, like AOC. 3 branches of Congress, really. But it's just, there's so much going on right now that's just blows my mind. Like, where are these people? Like, can you not see it? Like, especially this weekend, we had, those kids that were, taunted, and they stood their ground because they were all because of a hat. And I was going through my Twitter feed, and Kathy Griffin, she was trying to dox these teenagers. She wants to dox these teenagers that are standing and supporting our president. Whether you like our president or not, we did this with Obama. I did not like Obama, but I prayed for him. I didn't bash him. I didn't like what he did, and I was very suspicious. I mean, just watching him when he was campaigning, there was just an unsettling feeling about him that you just couldn't put your finger on. And it's just the way he talked down to people like they were stupid. And, it's the economy, it's an easy fix. All we have to do is get more jobs and raise taxes and lower this and up this, and that's it. That's all you need to do. If it's that simple, it would have been done already. But the Democrats, as we know, they like to keep the chaos, because if they can keep the chaos, it distracts us from really looking at what they're doing. Like, freaking Trump is brilliant. He's brilliant. I just saw something. I was like, what? So Trump is with this whole thing with letting Nancy Pelosi, he wanted Nancy. He wanted Nancy Pelosi. He wanted Nancy Pelosi to be Speaker of the House. He wanted Nancy Pelosi. He knew she would not budge on this wall. She talks about how it's not moral. She talks about how it's this. She talks about how it's that. But yet she's got walls around her house. I love what Laura Loomers. I love her. I can take her in doses. But I tweeted one time. I said, you know what? We should take all the homeless people in California who have jobs, who are trying, but that are overtaxed, and have them seek asylum in Nancy Pelosi's house. and see how she would like, because she's talking about morality and opening our arms to the weary. We've got weary people here in California who work two jobs and still can't afford to own or rent an apartment. I mean, where there's some places a single bedroom studio apartment is going to at least run you at least 1,800 bucks, but you're probably looking at 2,500 bucks a month. I mean, and you got if you got entry level positions, how do you afford that? And then too, the taxes, and then all the DMV fees and all the toll fees, and how do you afford that? Like, it's almost impossible. So there is a large population that is not on the streets. They sleep in their car. They have a gym membership. They go to the gym. That's where they take their showers, and that's where they work. And then they go to work. They live out of their cars. They have like a storage unit. They keep their stuff in storage, and then they live out of their cars. And it's just amazing to see that people who work so hard can't even have a place to call home. Walmart parking lots are very popular for places to park because they allow overnight parking. But now that they're starting to crack down on that. They're starting to crack down on people cars parking at truck stops overnight. Because people need Wi-Fi, so they'll park at a truck stop that has Wi-Fi, or try to find a Starbucks or whatever, and where there's Wi-Fi, so they can get whatever they need done, pay their bills. It's just, I don't know. It's just it's a sad situation that California is, and then we have a congressperson who was probably fraudulently voted in, who blatantly, openly talks about the abortion that she received, and then says, because I had that choice to kill my child, I can work. And look at me, I'm so successful. It's like, yeah, I admire a woman in her position. It takes a lot of work, and it's a lot of, hey, Bruce, how's it going? And hooty hoots in here. Yay. Oh my gosh, $1,600 for a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car in Arizona. Yeah. Oh, our governor. And this is the thing that made me sick. This summer in California, they sneakily passed a law that the 2 top votes, so for the senators, so Dianne Feinstein, I had to vote for her. And I hate to say that. Because the other option was so much worse, but it was a Democrat. I forgot who the other option was. I'm watching Dianne Feinstein undermine, and the Chinese espionage and all that kind of stuff that was going on with her, knowing she's a better pick than the other guy. And it was just, but the thing is, that's what they did. They snuck this law in. So they snuck this law into California, saying the 2 top people that got the votes. So even though in the primaries you have your Republican, I'm independent, but for the Republicans, they only have their pick, and then the Democrats have their pick. But if the second Democrat has more votes than the first Republican, that Republican is taken off, and for the midterms, and then the 2 top Democrats. At the same time, when they slip this law into there, if you apply for social services, or you apply for like anything that you need government wise, and you have to fill out a form, like I had to register, or my DMV fees were up on my car, so I went to go register it online, which again went up like $200. It should be going down, not up. That was another thing that they did illegally. They implied this tax on the DMV fees, that our DMV fees are already so expensive. They're applying more fees and more gas tax. But anyways, that's another subject. So They slipped this law in where, it's not the top Republican or Democrat, it's the top votes. And then while they're doing this, so while you can apply for all of these, services, even if legal, illegal, while you're applying for these services, they automatically check the mark for you saying that you're a legal citizen. So they fill it out, and then they vote. So these voter rolls right now, they say like I said, 1.5 million in just LA County. I still don't think it's an accurate number because the highest population of Mexicans actually live in LA. Well, actually, I should take that back because I shouldn't say the highest population. Just because they're Mexican doesn't mean they're illegal. So I don't know how much is illegal versus illegal, but anyways, it's something to look at, something to consider. But we know that there are pushing illegals to vote. So we've got these huge waves of caravans coming in. We have them not wanting a wall. We're having them illegally changing laws to change the voters. We've got proven illegal voting. We have legal vote harvesting, and that's and I actually went to some senior housing, and that's what they were doing. They were having people go in there and helping people vote. We're talking memory ward people. We're talking, they have no business going into places like that and telling patients that are incapable of comprehending how to vote. This is going on in California, and this is who is running for president. I swear, I hope and I pray that Trump is doing what I think he's doing, and it'll come quickly and it'll come swiftly, because it is shameful. It's disgusting. This whole setup is not. We would have been in so much trouble if Hillary would have won. We would have been in so much trouble. The whole part of our country, the whole process of our country, there would have been no more justice in our country. What they're trying to do is, and I've seen it, like, I've seen people who immigrate here, especially from a very, socialist country, and in living in California. I grew up in in a rural area, and I grew, lived on a farm, and having a gun wasn't a big deal. Like, and so I'm used to having guns. I'm used to being around guns, shooting with my dad when I was a little girl at a gun club. And, but you have these people from socialist countries, they are petrified of the gun. It's been so ingrained in their heads that you shouldn't have a gun. They're bad. They're dangerous. It's, causes chaos. But they have that mentality of being suppressed. They do what they're told. If there's an injustice law that is imposed on you, that's just the way it is. You do what you're told, and you don't. So there's no chaos. You don't buck the system, because then you can keep your peace. So why these people who are used to living in suppression, who are used to not being able to make sure ends are met, that they have to do whatever, in California, you can't live off the land. When your grass is fake, your law is only a few feet bigger than your house. You can't live off the land here. You can't farm, you can't grow. But if they keep going the way they're going, a lot of people are not going to be able to eat. A lot of people are not going to be able to survive. But that's what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to do is smush us all into one place. This whole tiny house movement is going on. This whole thing is going on with people, this trying to cram us all together. And it's all the globalist idea. It's all the whole globalist agenda. If you look at the UN, and the UN, the agenda 2020 or 2030, they want to get rid of the Western culture. It's not white people they're looking after. They're looking after they want to eliminate the Western culture, the Western ideas, the Western mentality. They don't want capitalism. They don't even want, they want communism. It's beyond socialism. We've got this, AOC, this, she's a puppet. She really is a total puppet. She goes on spouting about how Soros is, poor Nazi survivor. No, he wasn't. He was not. He was a Nazi sympathizer. He was turning in the Jews. Just because you have a certain heritage doesn't mean you are a certain person or a certain type of person. He lived with a Christian family. He turned in the Jews. And even to recently, he was interviewed and they asked him, "Did you have any um, regrets for what you did?" He said, "No, they didn't." So what they would do is they would turn in the Jews and they would pillage what they had and he would take over their property. That's how he started making his money. So then George Soros, what he does, he likes to cause chaos in countries. All of those mass immigrations that have happened in Europe, that's all funded by the Soros and Open Border Society. You think, well, a man can't be that rich. No, he's not that rich. It's his sources. It's just the way he gets his money. It's he hangs around the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. Those people have been in there. To me, I think they're demonic. They're just a demonic group of people who have, they've meshed together. And anyway, so I know I've talked about a lot about that before, you guys, but yeah, it's something. Yeah, she's a woman with the mind of a child, that's for sure. I love my guns too, Carol. Yeah, like, my son just, or not my son, but my mom, my sister just moved to Texas, and so my son went out there with my nephew, and she's like, "Mom," it's like, "You just buy a gun." It's like, you just go, like, you just buy a gun. Just simple, you just buy a gun, where here you have to wait 3 days, and you have to go through this whole thing, and it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. And, yeah, it shouldn't be. They're I think California is an experiment with them. They're gonna let all this mass immigration, all of these incentives for Mexic or for immigrants to come. And I keep saying Mexican, it's not just Mexican, the it's different, nationalities, and that I think they counted up to, like, over 100 nationalities in the caravans. So, yeah, so we don't know who's coming through. We don't know. And this whole separation stuff that they use in humanitarian, that is just as, here they believe in abortion, but you darn well can't, separate the kids to make sure that the kids are safe. That's the thing. It's like the whole separation thing is to make kids safe. So if you have a kid and you come over, they're only allowed to detain you for a certain amount of time. And if we flood the system, if the system is flooded, then who are they gonna let first? The people with families, the people with kids. And so, I mean, we can't, there's just no way with what we have be able to adapt so quickly to take care of this problem in the manner that the Democrats don't care. They don't care. They just don't care. It's nothing about our country. It's all about self-serving and another agenda. Murder is murder. Exactly. Exactly. Carol, I like you, Carol. Yeah, if you're a Facebook friend, I think, oh no, it's not on there. I used to have a video of me with a um oh shoot, I forgot. Uh an AR-15. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. But yeah, um It's just I don't know, it's crazy right now. Just Kamala Harris, she boils my blood, and I think it's just the fact that she's just so she's she scares me. Like, AOC, she's just dumb, and I mean, AOC, she scares me too, the fact that she got elected, and she thinks the way she thinks, and, um yeah, and, the fact that she's like, people voted for her, and they believe in her, and they believe in her ideas is just like, whether it was legal or not, there are legal voters who agree with her. I look at her support in Twitter and stuff like that, and it's like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Like, you agree with this woman? You agree with these ideas? But the people are not thinking. They're not thinking. They're thinking, oh, she represents the Bronx, which she doesn't. Oh, she's a female and she's young. Okay, great. Just because you're female and young doesn't mean give you a pass to be an idiot. It means that you have stepped above. You have worked very hard. You're gifted, but just because you're young and a female and a minority doesn't give you a pass to be an idiot. That's the thing that just blows my mind. And like, if she was articulate, actually she is articulate in a sense. Like, when she gives a speech, she's very pretty, and she's very, what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for when you very people listen to you? Like, her speeches are like very powerful, but unfortunately, they don't make sense. And they're not usually true. Yeah, she is so funny. Carol. Nobody's gonna mess with Carol. It's crazy. It's a crazy time, and just watching. She bugs me. She bugs me. Kamala Harris. Just after whenever she's in, you watch her in any type of committees that are being broadcast or something. She's always very bullish and rude, and she thinks it's her way, and her way is the only way. She's not diplomatic at all. There would be if she was to run for president. sh- Mm-mm, mm-mm. I don't. I couldn't. It would be a mess. It would be a mess. So yeah, the thing that gets me is she's a minority and she's a woman, and so that's going to be a huge card. And I hate that. I hate that. We need, yeah, they act entitled, and it's so sickening. I'm a woman too, but I guess because I'm white, I doesn't make I don't get a say. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I think Elizabeth Warren, she's done. I think Kamala Harris has got her. Oprah, oh my gosh. Oprah. They're just like a demonic little pack. Um, Oprah, I used to like her. I used to love her shows. Her shows were like actually, but then she started to get into that like enlightenment type stuff and that spirituality and stuff like that. Like, you that you're walking on dangerous ground, Oprah. That's not good. So I think people are starting to wake up. I really do. And I think people need to realize that people around them are woke too. We need to get a little bit braver in what we say and how and who we say it to, because we need to figure out who's who and who, because if things do hit the fan, we need to know who we can rely on. Because there's a lot of people that vote Democrat who are good people. They're really, really good people. But the problem is they get fed all this propaganda through the mainstream media, but mainstream media keeps screwing up. They screwed up big time. They screwed up with that poor kid with the MAGA hat. They made it look like he was taunting this Native American man. It was the other way around. They were at a rally for life, and these people came and protested him. So he went at a scheduled rally to show his support, and people came in and protested that, and he stood his ground. He did nothing wrong, and but yet There's videos of left-wing people taunting right-wing people who are just standing up for God, and you don't see any of that going on or the media giving that attention. And then for the fact that these kids are brave enough. They're brave. This teenager is brave enough to stand his ground. He's braver than some grown men I know, and he stood his ground. And then you have people, Hollywood celebrities like Kathy Griffin, which we already know is disgusting, and she says provocative things just for her attention or whatnot. She doesn't care whether it's right or not. She wants this guy doxxed. She wants this teenager doxxed. She, to dox somebody is illegal. I want you, if you're watching, you know who I'm talking to. Doxing somebody is illegal, even if you use it in the disguise of, oh, I'm looking for a house in a neighborhood. Yeah, you want to know why your videos are erased? It's not the FBI. It's because you're doing stuff that's illegal and it's been reported. So, yes, you are reported. It's not because a conspiracy theory because you reported on something else. It's because the stuff you're doing is actually illegal. Free speech is not a blanketed thing that you get to use to hurt people, harass people, and endanger people. Those are felonies. Okay, felonies. When you dox people, those are felonies. Doxing is showing people private information without consent in order to have their life disrupted. So you need to understand that. And what you're doing is very illegal. And there will be repercussions for that. And they are coming. And you've already seen part of it. And there's more coming. So just let you know, bucko. Anyways. Sorry, I got a little a little booger eater was trying to dox me online, so he likes to watch me, so I just let him know. By the way, I did watch your video today. It was pretty funny. Somebody was mad. It was hilarious. I got a big ol' F you in it. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. You know, I kinda wanna go off politics though. Like, there is so much going on. Like, yeah, I let all this, pettiness get in the way and stuff like that. But here's the thing. There's groups out there right now. Okay, so the booger picker is one, but there's actually groups. It's been brought to my attention lately. There are groups out there. So, okay, so we're now polarized. We've got left versus right, right? Well, now we got, let's take the right, for example, and we'll take the booger eater. So Mr. Booger Eater talks about, oh, if you're a libertarian, and he goes through a plethora of negative names, and then there's these sinister guys online. Well, you're not a patriot, they're love Trump one day and then they're hate Trump the next day because he's pro-Israel and he's got Jewish ties and so these radio personalities they or YouTube personalities or whatever you want to call them, they encourage their it's weird. It's like almost a masochistic, like it's sick. It's really sick in the way he manipulates these people, but they go out and they troll people as hard as they can and they look for weak people just for entertainment purposes. But the thing about it is it's not just weak people they're getting to, it's people who love each other. They're trying to break those people apart. And there's we're going through so much already. It's not, we have a lot going through our government. We have a lot going through the politics and all that kind of stuff. And that's breeding hate. It's breeding anger. We've got stuff going on. Yeah, yes, they troll because they're neo-Nazis. We got neo-Nazi white supremacists going on right now. People who endorse Gab, you need to be very careful because it's a very neo-Nazi type platform. But anyways, um, these people are trolling for what purpose? And I'm not sure. Like some of I'm confused whether it's for the purpose of, being a patriot. But if you like Jews, then if you're is pro-Israel, then you're not a patriot. I don't know. I don't know what their thinking is. I don't know what their mentality is. But it doesn't matter because what is right and what is wrong is wrong. And God did tell us that that was going to switch. And we see it in everything. We see it in the perversion and in the indoctrinations in schools, sexualizing kindergartens. We see it on television where, transsexual is celebrated. These kids dancing on at bars at 11 years old, being money being thrown at them when they wear provocative clothing. And their defense is, well, the little girls do it on that's wrong too. These little pageants where little girls are dressed in little tiny bikinis and they're judged on their beauty. And the thing is we've lost contact of what it's like to be beautiful on the inside. And as the world gets darker, because it's going to continue to get darker. As the world gets darker, good people are actually caving in to the demonic forces. They're caving into pettiness. They're caving into, um, they're letting these people who let evil rule their life talk and buzz in their ear. And, and, sometimes we hear something and we think we hear something from one person that we love and we trust. We hear something from somebody else that we love and we trust. And sometimes when that person is talking bad about the one person that's not saying anything and they show them stuff that makes sense, but if you really dug, it's not even true. This person is just trying to cause chaos. It's crazy, it's really crazy, and it's sad because we're all different. We all have different strengths. We all have different characters. We all have our good and our bad. But when the good people, when Christians are fighting each other, when Christians are so quick to put other Christians down and humiliate them, and when that person's hurt and you continue to criticize them, or never mind, I'm not going to talk about that. But we need to focus on what's good and what's right. If you get hurt by somebody, you should probably step back and try not to react out of emotion and try to get the whole picture before you come to that person. But I think coming to people and working things out are good. They're really good. But you know, but sometimes when we react out of emotion, we make things worse, But we have to stick together. We have to look outside ourselves and look at what the division is is we we have to see what's going on before we start throwing name calling. And and that should never be. I pick on somebody who picks on me a lot, but the people that I'm surrounded by, it's like when you start going in a name calling and stuff like that, it's like, what, like, really, like, if you're hurt and your initial response is to hurt that person back, and especially when you don't have all the information, and when that person says, hey, you hurt me, and you continue to attack their character, you're not going to progress, you're not going to move, you're not going to move forward. And you really have to take a deep breath sometimes when you get hurt, and to look back and say, okay, you know what, I value this person, I value their friendship, I value their love. And you know what, we're fighting a fight. That's the thing. We're fighting a fight right now, and it's principalities. It's not a political thing. The political thing will slow down the machine. you know Trump will one day not be a president. Then what? Um, my hope is that Trump, the rapture happens, before things get bad, that we don't have to see that much. Yeah, Carol, I'm an introvert too. Yeah, I enjoy. Yeah, Hootie, it's like kicking them when they're down. It's like, yeah, yeah. I don't know. There's so much like spirituality. Like the thing is, being American, is and being a patriot. And like I hate using the word patriot because patriot is just used is the name is getting perverted. You know, it's getting perverted. Like you have some people online who have a Christian, um, channel, Christian channel, and yet they're saying they're swearing, they're degrading women, and that's just one. But when we're tearing each other down, it's not good. It's not good at all. Mm-mm, no. But anyways, but yeah. But and then too, there's and the other thing we have to watch out is where are we getting our leadership from? Not just I'm not talking about I'm not talking about government leadership. I'm talking about spiritual leadership. And the problem is there's so much like if you do take a leadership role in the church, and I'm talking the church, we're all the church, whether you're Christian, Protestant, whatever you are, you believe in God and you believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you're part of the church. So where do you get your leadership from? Because if you take a leadership role, you will get attacked. And as the days get darker, the attacks become more obvious, the attacks become harder. I have some very good friends that every once in a while, they work their missions, they make their rounds, and they're doing good work, and you can see sometimes when they're getting hit, they're just the exhaustion, the draining is in their face. That's when we need to recognize those signs. We need to recognize usually the ones that are doing that are the ones that are going the right direction. But when you have people who take leadership roles who are constantly no people that take leadership roles are still people. They're still, but when you become a leader in a church, of the church, there's a responsibility. There is a certain amount of self control you have. There is a certain amount of discernment that you should have. Um, and there's so many false preachers out there. There's so many false teachers out there who go around um, spreading God's word, but at the same time, they lead people astray more than they bring people to God. And we have to be careful because those are like cult type mentalities that I mean, there's so many weird stuff out there today. There's the Hebrewites that are going around saying, you know, I had my neighbor called me a demon because I'm Nordic. I'm a demon, and it was really funny because I shouldn't be saying this. But he thinks that the electrician that came over to our neighbor's house had a Viking on his head, and he says, "Oh, he worships Satan." I'm like, and he's not realizing that I'm Viking. He knows I'm Northern European, but he doesn't realize I come from a Norwegian background. But it just I try not to laugh because it is sad because those people, their demise is sitting in front of them. But anyways. Chrissy for president. Thanks, Carol. Ah, yeah, I wanted to start doing live streams a little bit more, and I don't want to be so like doom and gloom either. I want to have fun. We're working on some stuff. Hootie hoot. Um, oh, Carol, yeah, my last name is German. Caesar's German. Um, uh, But yeah, we got some fun stuff. I want to start doing like Friday night, Saturday night. We got some fun things going on just to goof. We have to let off some steam. You gotta get some funk in here. Um, but yeah, yeah, people pull one thing out and associate with another concept. It's all to, and this is the thing that we will all be led in a certain way. And relationship with your God or relationship with God is very personal. It's one person can't dictate you how to have a relationship with God. But don't get me wrong there. You still need leadership and you still need accountability and but what leads you is the word of God. You got to have the Bible. You got to read the Bible and you got to know how to read the Bible. You can't take snippets of a Bible and half a verse. You have to know what that verse and what in the context it means. Some people say that the Old Testament is irrelevant now. And then you got other people saying, the only thing that there is out there is the Old Testament. The New Testament is wrong. The thing is, it's all relevant. It's God's word that was written for us. That's a love letter. That's like a message he's giving us. And even though the rules of the Old Testament don't apply to New Testament, did I say that right? Old Testament doesn't apply today. Doesn't mean that the Old Testament is irrelevant. Those are stories in there for us to learn and to teach each other. And two, there's a lot of prophecies. That's the cool part. This is the part that gets me excited, is the prophecies. We just had a red moon last night. And did you guys see the red moon? That's another crazy thing. People are these like not conspiracy theories, these theories. We don't know the date. We don't know the hour, but we do know the season. And that's the thing is people are out there saying, oh, we have a red, I think another one's coming up or something. And it's on a Jewish holiday. And there are some coincidences there. It seems like things happen around blood moons that are very monumental. And it doesn't, yes, the Revelations refers to a blood moon. We're not in Revelations. We're not in the end date. We're not in the Revelation times yet. We don't want to be in the Revelation times. I believe in the rapture. I believe in the pre-tribulation. If we're in the tribulation, we're screwed. We did something wrong. We need to check ourselves. But the pre-trib rapture, we're getting close. We're getting really, really close. There's the peace deal going on right now. Is it going to happen? Because the first 3 years of the tribulation, that peace deal is going to apply. Just because there's a peace deal going on doesn't mean that you aren't going to suffer. There's going to be famine. There's going to be, the wrath of God will still be on there. But the 3.5 years into the tribulation, after that it's going to be gnarly. It's going to be nasty. And it's like these radio people try to twist stuff to fit their own narrative. It's so demonic to it. It is. And these like radio personalities that we're talking about, they call themselves, I hate the word patriot now because it's like they've perverted it so bad. They think that they're doing God's work. That's the problem, that these people are doing God's work. Like really, you have to read the Bible to understand that the thing is, God talks about, here's the thing. George Soros, yes, is Jewish. I believe the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers are all they have the Jewish heritage. I'm not sure on that, but I know for sure George Soros is Jewish. There's conspiracy theories saying that it was the Jewish people who caused 9/11. It was the Jewish people who who run the banks. It's the Jewish people who own the casinos. It's the Jewish people doing this and that. That's not the thing. They're not Jewish. I mean, they are Jewish by heritage, but they don't do it out of Judaism. They don't do it. Not the Jewish people support them. Not the real Jews support them. They're demonic people. They're not Jewish people. They shouldn't be recognized by their heritage. They should be recognized by who they are. And who they are is demonic, evil, sinister people. That's it. You shouldn't blame a tiny little country that has to defend every single border around it the, because of a handful of people who are sinister and demonic come from there. That's the thing. Being a Zionist doesn't mean you're pro Soros, doesn't mean you're pro globalist, doesn't mean, in fact, it's very much the opposite. That's what people aren't understanding. Zionists and globalists are very different. There's Zionist Jewish and there's Zionist, Zionist globalist. Wait, I'm screwing that up. Let me back up. There are Zionists who are Jewish and there are globalists who are Jewish. Just the fact that there are Jewish Democrats and Jewish Republicans. Ben Shapiro, an example. I don't know any Jewish Democrats. No. But anyways, that's the story. And that's the thing is that these people, sorry, my chair is kind of squeaky. These people are attacking Israel. They're attacking Jews because they don't like these certain globalists. That the Jews in Israel are the apple of God's eye. And you have to be very careful. An enemy of Israel is an enemy of God. You need to understand that. And their whole argument is, well, God, they've always forsake God. They've always done this. Yeah, they did. They did. They did all these things in the Bible. That's why they're written in the Bible, is for us to learn about it. But the thing is, the Jewish people screwed up. And they kept screwing up. And God would give them more chances and gave them more chances. They killed Jesus Christ. But yet God still says they're the apple of my eye. It's not that Jewish people are better than Christians or vice versa. It's the fact that God uses people and he uses them as a lesson to all of us. He's saying that despite the constant, I provided them this, they still rejected me. After they rejected me, I still provided them this. And he taught them lessons along the way, but he still loved them. That's the thing, that he still loved them and he's still the apple of his eye. He's telling us, you're going to forsake me. You're not going to obey me. You're going to mess up, but you're still the apple of my eye. And that's the whole part of it. That's the whole message. And if you read the Bible, they're not going to like what's going to happen for rejecting him. There is going to be a hell for them to pay because they're going to have to go through the tribulation. They're going to have to do that. But God's saying, I'm giving you these warnings. I'm giving you these warnings. I'm giving you these warnings. But there's a line and then it ends. And he's told us that clearly. Scriptures that was written 2,600 years ago are coming true today. And they're specific. It's not, they're not coincidences. They're specific scriptures that are coming through. I encourage you to read Ephesians, read Ezekiel, read Daniel. These things are coming true. Pay attention to what's going on in the Middle East. There's a peace plan coming out. There's, we've been waiting for it. We've been hearing for about a year. Jared Kushner kind of scares me, by the way. He's one to watch. Jared Kushner and Macron. Those are two. They're two crazy people. I'm reading those young men acting more mature than adults that were taunting them. Oh yeah, those guys, those boys, they were totally cool. But yeah, so that's that. So I just wanted to do a little chat tonight and see everybody. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Hootie Hoot, for being in here. I know there's some other people wanting me to come on later. Maybe I'll come on later. I don't know. I was just trying to figure it out. I just figured out how to do Google Chats. I don't know how to add anybody. But I will figure that out later. I did a long broadcast. I don't know how long have I been here? I have 5 viewers. Anyways, but, anyways, I appreciate you all. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for chatting. I love you guys. I'm praying for you guys, and, have a good night. I'll talk to you guys later.